Hello, everybody, and welcome to PASHI'S Corner. Thank you. And before I even start, so you people like gossip like this? I see. Thank you so much for everyone that subscribed to my channel via the last podcast session where I did a Q&A, get to know me. I realized a lot of you put up for that. Oh, so you want to hear more stories about me. But I'm so grateful. If you're new here, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you so much for your like, your subscription, your sharing. I am super, super, super grateful. And yes, today is about to be another banger. So, yes, sit back, relax, and enjoy. In the society today, when they teach us about religion, family, relationships, finances, and everything in between, it is easier for us to just learn, right? But have you really figured out that no one really teaches us how to be friends? Yes, that is what we will be talking about today, friendship. As a child, it's easy to just tell your mom, okay, this person is my best friend. You sneak with your parents' phone and call them and, just, tell them all the gist and all of that. But as a young adult, I just realized that friendship these days are scary. They are genuine friends that you all even become family. They are friendships that I've seen them sacrifice so much and it's working. And I've seen friendships that have teared people down and taken them back to the very scratch. This is what we will be discussing today. We'll be discussing about the foundations, the breaking points, the boundaries, and how to have and build healthy friendships. So stay with me to the end of this video. And please do not forget to share because someone might want to watch right now. Okay, so let's dive right in. So the first thing I'll be talking about is the foundation of friendship. I would say the foundation would be that we meet people at school, at work, in church, at the market. Sometimes friendship even start because we are in the same place. Sometimes friendship start because we have or share the same interests, right? But as an adult, I'm beginning to realize that it goes beyond that, right? Friendship now gets to the place of vulnerability, trust, and accountability, compatibility. Yes, even for friendship, I would say compatibility because if you do not find someone or you do not see someone as someone you can trust with your life, with your peace, they wouldn't be your friend, right? So another thing I noted here is the types of friendship. So I read out a few of them and I'm going to read them to you. So while I'm reading them or explaining them, I need you to reflect on the kind of friends that you have and where do they fall. The first on my list is the childhood friend. These are the ones that remind us of where we are from. These were the ones you grew up with, you played with, and when you look back, you're like, they are probably not in my presence. Like I know we did all of those as children. We grew up together. We played in the conva. We run in the rain naked. We did all of that together. Those are the childhood friends. For some people, they are lucky enough to still be connected to their childhood friends. But for some of us, we outgrew each other. We changed locations and different reasons. Another type of friendship is the situational friends, people we bond with because life puts us in the same room. I'm going to make a little emphasis on this type of friendship because I had to learn this one the hard way. I don't know if I should say it now, I should save that for later. The situational friends are the ones, colleagues, you know projects, a project brought you together, or life just put you all in the same room, and most of the time they become lifetime friends, or sometimes they are just there to play a certain role in your life and then they'll leave. Then another type of friendship is the soul friends. I like this one. These are people who feel like home. I am a very emotional person. And I would say I have just two people in my life right now that I would call friends. I know a ton of people, but I would say these two people have ticked the boxes for me because they have the same IQ as me. We think on the same level, or sometimes higher than each other. We hold each other accountable for some of the decisions we make, and all of we stay accountable for the decisions we make, and all of that. So the next friendship is the fun friends who bring light even if we don't go deep. These are the ones that they are the energy, the light in the room. If you want to party, you want something done, they want to explore, they are your guys. But they are not, there's nothing permanent about them. They don't want to be in long-term spaces. They don't necessarily tell you these things, right? But this is what they show, that okay, I'm just that friend who wants the good vibe, the party, the networking, the people, right? Those are the fun friends. And then the final friend that I have here is the grown friends. The ones who stretches us, inspire us, and call us higher. Now, these ones I would refer to them as like the mentors, our spiritual leaders, our parents, right? They could be friends, but like this is how I would describe my grown friends, because obviously they are higher than me, they are older than me, and they have a whole lot of experiences that I could learn from, right? And I can always run back to them and know that if I go to them with a problem, I'm definitely going to get some sort of solutions or solitude, right? So that is that about the type of friends. So the next part we will be talking about is when things shift. What happens when things change? As friendship, a lot of us would we need to understand and accept the fact that people come and go, right? So let me read from my note a bit. When things stop, when you start growing and they don't, when you feel like you're the only one putting in efforts, that shift, it hurts. It's deep. That actually shifts. And a lot of us carry guilt for outgrowing friendship. We think letting go means we didn't love them, but maybe the love you shared, its purpose. You are allowed to evolve, and sometimes this evaluation comes with distance. This, I'm going to break this down because when I wrote this note, I was just, this is my space. Whenever I write on my notes, this is my space. So, right, when people outgrow you or we outgrow people, it's a normal thing to happen because I feel like, right, people, like I said, people would change. And when they change, we should not beat ourselves. Like when I started my podcast, I met someone very interesting. I really liked her. And she was like, "You're good. Why don't you just start your podcast? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that?" She made sure my podcast came to life, right? And but aside that, everything else was not working. I tried to make it work as friends. It did not work. There was just some argument back and forth. And then that brings us back to the type of friends, right? I realized there was a whole lot of back and forth. But then I had to accept it and realize that some people would just come into our lives. They will play their part and they will go. They are not meant to stay forever. Accept it that way and save yourself the stress of actually thinking they are bad people. Trust me, they might be perfect in other spheres of their life. They are just not meant to be in your life forever. And that's it. People evolve, people grow, right? Even my friends, that the only two friends I tell you that I have now, I know I'm going to meet more friends because sometimes friendship feels lonely sometimes because You can have a whole bunch of friends, and there are times you feel like, I don't think I want to talk to you right now. I think I want to talk to someone else. Because there's always a friend that tick the boxes. This is why the different types of friends make sense, right? So it's okay to evolve. It's okay to not feel guilt that a certain person is walking out of your life for some certain reason, right? Okay. So the hard truth about friendship is the next part we will be talking about. Here's the hard truth. Not every friendship is good for you. Yeah. Not every friendship is good for you. Some are one-sided, some are draining, some are rooted in who you are used to be and not who you are now. And the hardest part, knowing when to walk away. It takes courage to protect your peace, to say, I love you, but this dynamic is no longer healthy for me. That's not purity, that's clarity. And sometimes the friendship doesn't end up with a blow up, it's just fade naturally, quietly, and that's okay. Because I would say when I started making my major friends, it started from church, right? My teenage friends from church were like my only friends at the time because I've always been an introverted kid. My parents really didn't let us go out. The girls were not really allowed to go out like that, just the boys. So I really didn't get to have so much friends. I know a lot of people in school because I was the prefect. Everybody wanted to be friends with the prefect or the course rep because of the position I held, right? So I had a lot of people come and go in my life, basically, you know. And then, just like it said in the notes, some friendships are one sided. You just realize that there's so much condition to the friendship or to whatever they want to have with you. And if you do not have those certain things, they wouldn't stay, right? So you have to be watchful of those kind of friendship. And there are some that I used to have a friend, Shane. We still talk, but if I look back as how much we used to talk before and we stopped talking now, I keep asking myself like what happened, right? We don't talk every time, but sometimes when we catch up on like months ago what has happened between the last time we spoke and what's happening now, all of those conversations and everything in between. So it's okay to just sometimes, if it's worth fighting for, you will know. you know, I told one of my friends, Shadi, I told her, I said, we don't talk so much anymore, but I know that I will check up on you when I can. I would ask you how you're doing, and vice versa. It's a lonely world we are currently in. A lot of things are happening to people. So, the best thing you can always do for yourself is find someone who understands you, someone who sees you, and always talk to them about how you are feeling. It goes a long way. There are days I am so drained. Yes, there are days you want to be by yourself, you want to do self reflection and talk about it, right? But then sometimes having the right friends that understand your journey, your purpose, it always makes the journey easy. Trust me. So let's not go outside the structure, right? So the next thing we'll be talking about is how to build real connection. So in my notes, I wrote it's mutual, it's honest, and it's safe. Y'all can laugh together, cry together, disagree. It's very important to sometimes disagree because if you find a friend who doesn't question your decision sometimes, you should run. A friend who will see that you're doing something wrong and doesn't scold you for it, such friendships, you should define it and know that this is not the kind that I will put in my space, right? So you know, you all show up for each other, you listen, you apologize when you were wrong. It's one thing, I know it is hard. It's easy to just forgive, but it is very difficult to sometimes just forget all of what has happened. But yes, it is possible to forgive and with the help of the Holy Spirit to forget. People would hurt us and then you'd be like, I can never. I've had people at distance myself from because of some certain things that has happened in their life. But I want to get to that space in my life where I would not say, okay, because this happened, I'm cutting off from you or something, something, something. No, people would do things. Yes, it will get to a point you actually have to detach from them to not fall into a toxic space or find yourself doing things that people who make you who take you back to places you prayed hard to come out of, right? There's a line. Okay, we're going to talk about boundaries, but it gets to a point where you actually have to draw the line, right? So it is important to grow together, to even separate, but with love. With love, you'll be able to, friendship entirely is love. So you cannot give genuine friendship if you do not have love in you, right? So it goes a whole long way. So the next thing we'll be talking about is friendship and healing. And so from my note I wrote, and sometimes a friend can be the difference between falling and holding it together. There's healing in being seen, in someone checking in on you when you go quiet, or being reminded that you're not alone. This is why I love my girls. Let me explain something, right? People show affection differently, right? My friend was going through something a few weeks ago, and I was in her DM the entire time. Oh girl, you're gonna be just fine. I'm gonna be here. I'm here anytime. I knew she didn't want to talk a whole lot because it was her thing, but I would always show up. I know she doesn't like calls, but I would call her because I saw her mental health being drained because of what happened. And then I also was going through something, and she noticed that I wasn't as bubbly as I was. And then she comes and texts me, yo, what's good? I'm like, I'm okay. And she goes, I know you. You better get talking. What's wrong? And I told her about everything that's going on. And, she's like, you'll be fine. There was a part of me that was going to get mad. Like, is that all you have to say? You're not going to persist? Because this is how I show affection. Like, I would persist. I would stay. I would make sure you're fine. In as much as I know that she cares, I cannot enforce her to act the way I would act towards friendship, to show that, oh, if you're not doing all of these things, you do not love me as you should. We need to come off it, to actually think that they have to do all of that for you. The least they can do is what they will do. They, at least out of 1,001 people in the world, there's someone who actually gives two fucks about how you feel, right? Because they have their own peace, but they show up for you constantly. That is enough. And then there are times you can also, of course, it is okay to tell your friend, okay, yo, if everybody didn't check up on me, you should have, because I'll pull up for you every time. Why didn't you? But when they tell you, oh, I'm so sorry, I thought you were good, I thought you needed space, have a conversation about this thing, okay? Other than holding grudges, or, I'm never gonna talk to her again because she didn't text me, she didn't persist. Have you seen how hard life is to be concerned about some things that does not really matter? Don't do that. Don't lose genuine people because of how you feel temporarily. Don't do that. Okay? It's not worth it. But then you also need to know when to draw the lines. So here is a reminder I'll be giving to everyone who is listening to me right now. You deserve a friend that sees you and respects you. You also deserve a friend who pours into you and not drain you. This is where you need to learn how to cut and set boundaries. If you notice that there's someone you're always pouring into, you don't see visible changes, you should be able to draw the line and be like, yo, I don't have a problem with you, but I gotta go because this ain't helping me. I'm trying to be of help to you, but it ain't working. and I can't force it. So I gotta go, girl. Yeah, I made you at the top if you want to be at the top. Okay, I can't sit back here and watch you, you know, pull me backward. I had to. I had to go. It's okay if you have to go sometimes because these people be stressing, right? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just being dramatic, but yes, it's very important. You deserve a community that feels like rest and not pressure. Especially for us as creatives, as young people. When we speak of community, hey, things they suck for you. You know, we even know. And I mean, they tell you people are doing things just because they are trying to belong. You should never be in a space where anything or anyone is making you feel like you have to do so much to fit in or something, right? You're doing just fine. All you just have to do is find a community that resonates with your belief, that is not pushing you away from God or the will of God over your life. It is important to to what is the word? What is the word? What is the word? To properly write out your purpose, to know what you stand for, so that you will not see this one, I'm shaking, I see this as well. No, you should have a stand as to what you believe in and not let the certain group of people take you out of your belief, okay, in the name of friendship, right? It is very, very important. And then the Bible said he became all things to all men. I like that Bible verse a lot. He became all things to all men. That's to say, he was able to relate with just anybody. If you want to, there are a lot of people that when you just see them, you just like them, they have good energy, all of that, right? You should be able to, have a friendly atmosphere when you walk into the room. You should not be rude and people will be like, I know if you approach that one. No, you shouldn't be like that. Like you should be people should be able to, confide in you, talk to you about what they're feeling. But then you also need to know what kind of friendship. You need to be able to define, yes, that's the word. You need to be able to define the kind of friendship you want to have with these people. When they come in, oh, let's party. I have a friend that this one is just for partying. I have a friend that if I want to talk business, I know whom to call, and we would have that conversation about business and finances and all the mental things that, yes, let's let the brain just be up there, catching fire and all of that. And then I have the friends that nobody sees me cry. Yes, it is a rare thing to actually find me crying. So I have a friend that if I want to be vulnerable with, or I want to share my little tea with, I know who to call, right? You should be able to define your friendships and make sure in all that you do, I'm begging you, in all that you do, never let a friendship take you out of God's plan and purpose for you. You don't have to see a pastor or a prophet to tell you that this one not good for you. You should know. You should have a discerning spirit to know that if I continue with this, it's going to take me out of God's plan for me. It's going to make me do something that I'm not supposed to do, right? So please, that would be all on friendship. And yes, if you feel like there's a part of friendship that I did not talk about, I feel like friendship is so broad and we cannot talk about it in just one conversation. If you feel like there's something about friendship you want to share, more tips, or how friendship have shaped your life, or how you never want to be friends with anybody again, just let us know in the comment section. Please share this to someone, it might be helpful. And yeah, I really appreciate everyone who thinks of this channel as a proud platform. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Until we meet again, see you all. Bye for now.